True daughter, she is the almighty boss. Chapter 1, The Return of the Fortune Teller. Chapter 1, The Return of the Alchemist. Zijin, although you are our daughter, we have raised Xiaoxian for 15 years. We have a deep relationship with her. She has been rich since she was a child, and she is not as hard-bearing as you have been in the country, so the eldest lady in Ying's family is still Xiaoxian. You are a little wronged, but you are so kind, and Mom knows that you won't mind. Don't worry, you should have nothing less. What? You want to go too? Are you kidding me? They want ladies. You don't even know a piano song. Going for anything will only be embarrassing. Dreams are chaotic figures and noisy words. A few seconds later, Zijin woke up completely. Her long eyelashes moved, her eyes opened, and what caught her eye was a white hospital room with the smell of disinfectant in the nose. Yeah, awake. An ironic voice came from above her head. I thought you were dead. Don't move. What do you move? Are you responsible for the needle ran away? Hold her with one hand, pinching her wound firmly. However, the girl showed no trace of pain. When she turned her wrist, she pressed that hand on the bedside table. The man suddenly had pain and screamed, Are you sick? Xiao Yan. There was another young woman in the ward. She was taken aback and hurried forward. This is Dr. Lu, not here to harm you. The girl turned her head, and a pale to bloodless face was exposed to the air, sick and lacking energy. But when you look closely at the facial features, they are very delicate. They are beautiful phoenix eyes. With a slight turn, there is a shallow light passing by, floating and flowing, and they are clearly extinguished. Has a powerful deceptive power that makes people lose their minds. The woman's eyes flashed, and she cared. Xiao Ying, is there anything else you feel uncomfortable with? The girl didn't say a word, but her hand was loose. Dr. Lu rubbed his wrist and backed away, reprimanding, It really is an uncultivated white-eyed wolf. Zian raised her eyes, her pair of long and narrow phoenix eyes were still stained with water and dew. Her voice was wrapped around a low-pitched voice that she had only after waking up, and it was more hazy and cold. Sorry, I just woke up, I thought a dog bit me. Dr. Lu's face changed. You. Okay, Xiao Jin has already apologized, stop arguing. The woman persuaded her, her face was full of self-blame. Xiao Jin, I'm sorry, if it's not because of my illness, you don't have to give me a blood transfusion. No, thinking of this time also made you faint. That's what she deserves. Dr. Lu looked disgusted. Isn't she the poor adopted daughter of your Ying family? Do you need me to help her raise her body? The woman sighed. Xiao Ying has suffered so much, how can he compare with Xiao Xian? It's incomparable. Dr. Lu smiled, contemptuously. I heard from my brother that she is second in grade, but unlike a white-eyed wolf, she got into the elite class by money, and was dropped third from the second to last. More than 100 points, really shameful. The woman frowned. Don't say that, Xiao Yan was still the first in her former middle school. Dr. Lu sniffed, the first place in a county can't even pass the exam. However, the conversation between the two did not affect Zijin at all. She glanced at the woman casually, and a name emerged in her mind. Ying Luwei. Her sister-in-law, 25 years old this year, is the #1 lady in Shanghai and a famous pianist in China. Because of a genetic mutation, Ying Luwei suffers from a rare hemophilia. Once a patient with this disease has a wound, the blood will not stop and it is difficult to heal. Moreover, his blood type is still extremely rare null, which is extremely difficult to match, and there is no complete cure yet. Looked at her slender wrist where she could even see the blood vessels, with a lazy expression, hey. She died in the world of spiritual cultivation, but she returned to the earth where she had been. Has been asleep for nearly 17 years, and now her consciousness and memory are fully awakened. Her name is also Yingzijin, which has been with her for a long time. It's just that she is no longer the of the spiritual cultivation world, who determines life and death with one hexagram, sees misfortune and happiness at a glance. Now she is an adopted daughter of Ying's family who cannot be on the stage, or Ying Luwei's mobile living blood bank, available on call. This time she fainted because Ying Luwei was injured. She was forced to draw blood for several days, and she couldn't resist. What was going on at the time? Dr. Lu looked at Ing Luwei, who pushed you down. Are you on the side, do you see it? The last sentence was addressed to the girl. Seeing that she didn't move, Dr. Lu came up with anger. What about you, dumb? Noisy. Ing Xian was lazy, quiet. What kind of attitude do you have? Dr. Lu slapped the folder in his hand on the table, sneered, Lu Wei, I'm sorry, just take this attitude toward her. I'm not cured of her illness now. Slowly gathered the placket, the door is there. Dr. Lu wanted the girl to talk softly and beg her. He didn't expect to punch in the empty space. He looked embarrassed for a moment, and his face was hot and painful. He left a sentence, what kind of majesty do you want to seduce your little uncle's idiot, left in a hurry. Xiao Yen. Ing Luwei scolded, Dr. Lu is an expert convalescent physician. If you anger her away, what will your body do? Well, an expert in glucose infusion. Ing Zijin said lightly, I don't know, I thought I was going to have some major surgery. Ing Luwei's heart jumped, Xiao Ying. Sat up on the bed with her elbows supported, but what the experts say makes sense. I also want to know who pushed my sister down, and the evildoers will always show their feet. She picked up the phone by the bed and looked at the woman, did you say so? Suddenly, the girl's momentum was overwhelming. Ing Luwei couldn't stand it anymore. She frowned and was displeased, Xiao Yen, you really don't want to be willful anymore. I don't care if you hurt me or not, but if you keep doing this go down, one day you ran into a big man, how can sister-in-law protect you? Thank you sister in advance. I heard that you chose this ward specially for me. Ing Zijin looked up at the house number and seemed to be smiling, the number is good. After finishing speaking, she didn't look at the woman's expression, and went straight out of ward 914. Ing Luwei bit her lip, her eyes condensed. She thought for a while, she took out her mobile phone and pressed a number. After the call was connected, she whispered, Mo Yuan, Xiaoying listens to you the most on weekdays, can you help me persuade her? On the other end of the phone, I didn't expect to hear such a sentence. There was a moment of silence and indifferent, you take care of your body, leave her alone, if she has to keep an inch, I will send someone to send her away. It is fluttering in the wind and snow, wrapped in silver. Shanghai stands along the coast, and there is no snow in the middle of winter, but this year, in late January, there was snow, scattered in the night sky, cold and icy. People come and go on the streets at 9 o'clock in the evening, which is very lively. The girl only wore a simple black shirt, her legs were slender and straight, she was carrying a shoulder bag, walking slowly, and she was extremely incompatible with everything around her. Her face is pale, but she is beautiful, and occasionally the light of neon lights flashes between her eyebrows and eyes, like tiny stars slowly wafting away. Across the street. Hey, Qishao. Nie Chao's eyes were certain, and he slammed into the waist of the person next to him, guess who I saw? Huh. The man looked loose, see your old lover again. He leaned against the wall, his body was long, his posture was lazy, and he was full of vigor. Xiao Ruomei's fingers were playing with a finger, but his hand was whiter than you. The wind and snow dimmed his eyebrows, but did not hide the exquisite beauty, on the contrary, it became more and more dusty. The man has a pair of naturally smiling peachy eyes, slightly bent, looking at everyone, it seems to be affectionate, and they are discharging directly, which is too sultry. Born to be an enchanting evildoer. Nie Chao thought to himself, it's no wonder the ladies couldn't see anyone else when facing such a face, he wanted to kneel when he saw a man. What old lover, I never eat grass. I saw the girl adopted by the Ying family a few months ago. The man hummed absent-mindedly, his right leg bends slightly, and the slightly raised profile of his face is perfect in both the curvature and the lines, causing passers-by to turn their heads frequently. Nie Chao knew that he was not interested, so he said, you just came back, you don't know, this Ying family adopted daughter seduce her sister-in-law's fiancé. The man raised his eyebrows slightly, and finally had a reaction, Jiang Moyuan? It's him. Nie Chao snorted, she's so courageous. Jiang Imo is a generation older than their elder brothers, but he is only 5 or 6 years older. Before he reaches 30, he is already the leader of the company. Everyone in Shanghai will respectfully call him San Yi Jiang. Jiang Moyuan and Ing Luwei are also very close friends, both from the Four Giants. One is the first lady in Shanghai, and the other is the man whom the ladies most want to marry. Nie Chao sighed. Qi Xiao, you said that if you are doing a good job, with your face, you must be the one they want to marry the most. The most famous Shanghai city apart from Jiang Moyuan, the other is that the seventh young master of the Fu family in front of him, Fu Yunshan. It's just that the latter is not a good reputation. It seems that apart from a face and money, there is no other advantage. Kunye Chao felt that he had never been able to see through this young boy brother. Fu Yun narrowed his eyes and smiled casually. I don't want to be like him. That's right. Nye Chao said, it's better to spend a lot of time and drink, so that I am free, but I am not the only one in my family, and I will not be arrested by the old man to inherit the company. Fu Yunshan did not speak. You may not know that Ying's family will adopt her just to provide Ing Luwei with blood. It's quite pitiful. Nye Chao said again, but poor people must be hateful. I think this Ying's family will adopt her. Female character is not good. He looked at the girl and was inevitably amazed, but she is really good-looking. TSK, none of the imperial capital can compare to her. Fu Yunshan still did not respond, her peachy eyes were slightly low, and she didn't know what she was thinking. No one was gossiping together, and Nye Chao was bored. Just as he was about to ask a man if he wanted to sit in the newly opened bar, he was suddenly surprised. Hey, Qi Xiao, this Ing family's adopted daughter seems to be in trouble. There are 5 street gangsters who did not know where they came from, blocking the girl's path, with ill-intentioned, sullen smiles on their faces. 2 of them still have knives in their hands. Many people around saw it, but they all just glanced indifferently, and then hurried away. I believe there will be retribution now. Nye Chao didn't move, watching the show. Look at her thin arms and legs, pitiful. Fu Yunshan did not look at it, but spoke, go and help. Help? Nye Chao suspected that he had misheard. No, Qi Xiao, you actually asked me to help her. Do you know how bad her reputation is in Shanghai? If you go there, it will be fishy. She is just a little girl. Fu Yun raised his eyelids. You are just hearsay. Rich people are deep in water, black and white are the norm. How can you know who she is? Nye Chao thought, but why should I help? Fu Yun is lazy, you can do karate. Good, good. Nye Chao said helplessly, I'll help, but if I'm taken on by this Ing family's adopted daughter for a while, I'll say it's you. Fu Yun said faintly, count me. Nye Chao stepped forward reluctantly, but before he arrived, an accident happened. I saw the girl clasping the head of the bastard's arm blankly, and suddenly raising her backhand was a shoulder crossing. The action was extremely cold. Within 10 seconds, she punched out her legs, raised her elbow, and quickly knocked down the remaining gangsters without breathing. Soon everyone was caught off guard, and the passers-by around were shocked. Nye Chao was stunned. Fucking. Fu Yun stood up slowly and straightened up, raised his peachy eyes, and suddenly smiled. Instructions for entering the pit. 1. The kind of cookies that are both physically and mentally clean and redeem each other, which is super sweet without abuse. Key point, the full text is empty, please do not substitute into reality. 2. The female coach, a full-level boss, counts the world. It is an important role that appeared in the last book of the book, Ling Fei Qin Tian. The Demon Emperor has been captured, written in 2018. Interested babies can take a look. 3. The male protagonist is flirty and beautiful, showing off his leg. 4. Please do not mention other authors and works in the comment area, please respect each other. End of this chapter. True daughter, she is the almighty boss. Chapter 2, give our kids blood. Chapter 2, replenishing blood for our children. Retracted his hand, completely ignoring the weird gaze of the people around him, rolled up his sleeves and then walked. Shanghai is China's second international metropolis, with rapid economic and technological development. Smith, did you see it? Nye Chao took a long time to return to his senses. He pinched his thigh and hissed, I can remember clearly that this little sister just entered the hospital the day before yesterday. Up. Well, I saw it. Fu Yunshan put one hand in his pocket, looking at the girl's back, but this skill can't tell what it is. It's a bit like Muay Thai, and a bit like Judo. Nye Chao was taken aback. How do you say? Every move she attacked is very clever. Fu Yun smiled deeply. If she uses a bit more effort, the 5 people will not be as simple as falling to the ground. Nye Chao heard it in a cold sweat. Impossible. Is it possible that this little sister can still use ancient martial arts? The martial artist is an ancient martial artist with the ancient methods and the science of the present. The ancient martial artist is many times stronger than his kind of karate. There are ancient warriors in Huagua, but there are not many. Some ancient warriors have gradually retired after the arrival of the 21st century. Even the giants in the imperial capital are looking for real ancient warriors, not to mention Shanghai. If any rich family can invite a real ancient warrior to sit in the family, they can have the ability to compete with those ancient chaebols in O continent. If this Ying family adopts Guwu, the Ying family will treat her as a living blood bank. It's too late for the whole family to confess. Guwu. Fu Yun's eyes shifted deeply and froze. Ahead, the girls suddenly went and returned, still walking in their direction. Fu Yun raised his eyes deeply and turned his body slightly. The street lights were fluttering, reflected in his long and narrow peach blossom eyes, plated with a touch of crimson, and dyed with a gentle color. It is difficult for anyone to resist his gaze. Was getting closer, Fu Yunshan could clearly see the blue blood vessels under the girl's plain skin, so weak that it was frightening, and his eyebrows moved slightly. Nye Chao's cold sweat grew worse. Couldn't it be him who said bad things behind his back? Has he been heard? Although he is a 9th dan in karate, he is still a big man, but just look at the posture of this little sister just now, he doesn't need 2 hands to fight 100 times. Was also at this moment, the girl stood still in front of him, she raised her head, with a hazy mist floating in the bottom of her eyes, and said, "You." Nye Chao's legs softened, and he knelt with a pump. I am a gossip who owes my mouth. There is actually no mercy from a malicious boss. Fu Yun was very interested. Kneel down on one knee and have a pious posture. Are you asking for marriage? Nye Chao. His unbelievable legs. Ing Zijin looked at Nye Chao, who was standing up again, raised her eyebrows slightly, and said unhurriedly, 3 days later, at 7 o'clock in the evening, in the tavern on Huangpu Road, you will have a disaster, but it is not a serious problem. Starting at 12 noon 7 days later, I suggest you avoid a whole area of Punan, otherwise life will be worrying. Nye Chao was confused. Fu Yun heard the words deeply, and squeezed his slender fingers playing with jade, his peachy eyes raised, his voice was low, and he smiled, "Kid, you can tell fortune-telling?" Ing Zijin did not answer, but just said, "Thank you." Thanks are just a pretense. It doesn't matter to her whether someone helps her, she just wants to try how much she has left in her current arithmetic ability. It seems that it will take a long time for her to recover, but it is enough for now. Nye Chao was even more at a loss. Fu Yun took a deep look at Nye Chao, then looked at the girl. His pupils were light amber, with a bewitching gentleness. Little friend, just thank him, isn't it too bullying? Gave an expression. Nye Chao was stupid. 7th master, are you not? It's obviously you who bullied my little sister. Did you take the wrong medicine today? A big man, excuse me. Why didn't he see this young master talking to another opposite like this? Fu Yunshan ignored him. Tao Hua kept her eyes deep, staring straight at the girl, as if she was discharging. Little friend, you counted it for him, why don't you count it for me? Liao Zijin's eyes are slightly narrowed. Little sister, ignore him. Nye Chao felt deeply that today Fu Yunshan was ill, so he made a round of it. Where are you going? Shall we see you? Sure enough, the wealthy family is in deep water, and this sister is not the kind of person in the rumors. No need. Ing Ziying shook his head and was leaving. When could be turned over, his body shook slightly, which was obviously a sequelae of excessive blood loss. She raised her hand and pressed her temple, her brows and eyes were covered with frost. Just then, behind, a lazy voice sounded. Children. Ing Ziying stopped and turned around. The man leaned against the glass door, still looking like a romantic boy. Your benefactor said that in order to thank you for reminding him, he would invite you to dinner tonight. Han Pavilion. After the waiter arranged the tableware, Nie Chao still couldn't understand. He looked at the girl with dizzy brows. You really agreed? Are you not afraid of being sold? What if we are bad guys poisoning you? And the seventh young master is also weird. When did she take the initiative to invite the girl? Half closed her eyes and rested her mind, because I'm really hungry. Nie Chao. Well, that's all, let's serve another plate of fried pork liver. Fu Yunshan closed the menu, raised his eyes and smiled. The kid is too thin and needs some blood. The waiter owed himself, and went down to prepare. Hang is the only restaurant in China that refuses a 3-star Michelin rating. It only accepts 10 tables a day, and it must be booked 3 months in advance. Nie Chao looked around and said, Qi Shao, you don't know the owner of Han Pavilion, do you? This shop, even if my old man comes, I have to book it. I don't know. Fu Yunshan put his arm on the back of the chair, his tone was casual, maybe look at his face. Miss Ng, did you hear that? The seventh young masters just like to talk nonsense. Don't believe a word of what he said. Nie Chao didn't care, and waved his hand. But today is a rare treat for the seventh younger, you just let go, he lacks everything except money. It's a coincidence. Ng Zijin said casually, I only lack money. Fu Yunshan raised his head. Are you short of money? Nie Chao was stunned, Ng family won't give you money. Ying's servants are paid, let alone an adopted daughter. I'm poor in study, I haven't learned etiquette, and I don't know how to arrange flower tea. The girl calmly said, so embarrassing, why should I give me money? Nie Chao was choked. Fu Yunshan's eyelashes moved, and the corners of his lips curled up. Children, that means they have no beads. Your pre-dinner etiquette has followed the royal family of ancient Ozu. New article development is another transformational work. Now the general environment is relatively difficult. It often requires data to go on. Ask for favorites, comments, and recommendations. Owo. End of this chapter. True Daughter, She is the Almighty Boss. Chapter 3, Ancient Ozhou. Chapter 3, Ancient O Continent. Nie Chao was stunned again. What? What did he hear? Add an ancient character before Ozhou, and the meaning is completely changed. That was O continent from the 14th century to the 16th century. Because of an ideological and cultural movement, countless famous figures appeared in various fields such as literature, art, and music. O continent has also turned from decline to prosperity. There are many royal families in O continent, but most of them no longer exist. Until now, there are still 10 royal families headed by country Y, and the etiquette of each royal family is different. It's just an ordinary sitting posture. He didn't see the slightest doorway. Why did he follow the etiquette of the Ozhou royal family? But Nie Chao didn't doubt Fu Yunshan's words. Because the son-in-law told him that in order to be a successful young man, the prerequisite is to know astronomy and geography. Nie Chao always felt that there was something wrong with these words, but couldn't figure it out, so he had to be taught with humility. The first man in Shanghai knows the etiquette of the royal family of Ozhou is not surprising, but this little sister from the country, the Ng family? Ng Ziying opened his eyes, his expression remained unchanged. She changed her posture and sat with her chin resting on her hand. She was too lazy, I have read the corresponding books. Fu Yunshan leaned back and laughed, this hobby is different from ordinary children. Did not respond anymore. After 10 minutes of work, all the dishes are ready. There is no single room in Han Pavilion. Each table is separated by a cyan curtain. There is an incense burner beside the table, and different incenses are put in according to the preferences of the guests. There is also a small stone bridge and flowing water beside, which is full of ancient style. Ng Ziying tilted her head, her eyes moved slightly. Osmanthus fragrans, rosemary, agarwood, lavender, sandalwood, all of them are used to soothe the nerves. Obviously they were specially prepared. Just for a while, she felt much better. Ng Ziyan looked down. She came to the earth for the first time, in the middle of the 15th century. She did not expect that she would come to the earth again, after all, she was a mortal person, and it was not easy to survive. Because the injury was so severe that her soul was completely broken, her consciousness fell asleep for nearly 17 years, and she only woke up today. After waking up, she was in a bit miserable situation. Long-term anemia makes this body very weak, it can even be said to be riddled with holes, and it breaks when touched. She needs a lot of jade medicinal materials to improve her body and restore chi and blood. But she is short of money. Before, she had deposited a lot of gold in O continent. After so many years, the bank that used to be should also be closed down. I don't know if her gold is still there. Ng Zijin thought for a while and asked, "Are there any fun places in Shanghai?" "That's too much." Nie Chao was drunk and stomped, "You've been here for so long, haven't you gone out to play? Live blood banks, there should be no such thing as freedom." Nie Chao was choked again. "Children, drink this." Fu Yunshan handed the girl a bowl of longan and red jujube soup. After seeing her took it, she lay in the bamboo chair. How many times has Ng Luwei been injured in this year? Nie Chao was stunned for a moment. "Forget it, if you just go to the hospital, no less than 10 times. As soon as the number was exported, even he was surprised. Ng Luwei has hemophilia, no one in Shanghai knows, so the ladies and gentlemen are also guarding carefully. She is Jiang Moyuan's fiancée again. She is proficient in all kinds of piano, chess, calligraphy and painting, and is loved by all the elders of the 4 giants. I dare not touch it, how could it hurt her so many times?" Nie Chao tentatively said, "Big brother, you won't have lost to her so many times." The words came to my lips, but I didn't say any more. More than 10 blood transfusions, who can hold it? Liao Zijin slowly finished the longan and red date soup, and squinted his eyes, but it didn't matter, don't stop. The vitality of this body was exhausted just when she woke up, and now she has barely recovered a little, showing how weak it is. Well, that's good. Fu Yunshan raised his hand and passed a tissue to the girl. He chuckled lightly with a gentle voice, "She can be selected for the Guinness World Records." Nie Chao broke out in a cold sweat again. He and Fu Yunshan have known each other since they were young and they know their temperaments. Once the young master spoke in this gentle tone, it proved to be really angry. But how can this be? Ying's family accepted an adopted daughter, who served them deliciously, not just for the blood. The darkness in the rich family, they have been used to seeing each other all these years, and there is something more nasty than this kind of thing. Nie Chao sighed, and invited the waiter to show his hospitality. "Big brother, eat more, Qi Shao is right, we must make good blood." Looked at the plate she had finally eaten clean and filled with pig liver. At this time, the carved wooden door of Han Pavilion opened again. The sound of footsteps sounded, and a group of people walked in. Headed by is a man with a stalwart figure and slender and powerful legs wrapped in black suit trousers. He has an indifferent face, thin eyebrows, and a kind of alienated nobleness all over his body, but he also has the charm of a fatal mature man. Even the waiter of Han Pavilion could not help being slightly solemn when he saw people coming. This face, no one in Shanghai would not know it. The third master of the Jiang family, Jiang Moyuan. The first heir to the 4 giants, who combines appearance, status, and power. A man who all the ladies in Shanghai want to marry. The manager stepped forward, respectful but not humbled. "Mr. Jiang, the seat you reserved is here, please follow me." Jiang Imo nodded far away, raised his foot and walked in. But at this moment, the secretary who followed suddenly stepped forward and whispered, "San Yi." After finishing speaking, she pointed in a direction. Jiang Moyuan frowned, but he turned his head and looked in the direction of the secretary's direction, his eyes suddenly sinking. The thin girl was sitting on the bamboo chair with her head sideways, not knowing what happened, her expression was very resisting. He also knew the people sitting next to her. Fu Yunshan. The young man from the Fu family has an unusual reputation. Sent abroad for 3 years, it seems that I haven't grown a little bit. I don't know what was thinking of. Jiang Moyuan frowned deeper, and strode away, leaving the few people behind him staring at each other. These people are all customers of Jiang's group, and they understand Jiang Moyuan's temperament. Shanghai City Jiang Sanyi, his joy and anger have never been exposed, what can make him change his face? Sanyi is going to discipline a disobedient junior, and will come back later. The secretary apologized, please take a seat first. The male protagonist is in his first hand, clean, clean. Fu Yunshan. Give some face. He is not the protagonist of romantic essay routines, so I won't say much about spoilers. End of this chapter. True daughter, she is the almighty boss. Chapter 4, What to compare with Yingluwei. Chapter 4, What to compare with Yingluwei. Hearing such an explanation, a few customers suddenly realized that they all understood and said busy, where, San Yi just go busy. If it weren't for Jiang Moyuan, they wouldn't even be able to book the location of the Han Pavilion. After the secretary apologized again, he followed Jiang Moyuan and left. At this time, there are no other guests in the Han Pavilion, and the waiters are all waiting by the side. The manager naturally saw this scene. He frowned. When he wanted to stop him, he showed a bit of surprise, nodded silently, and backed away. Fu Yunshan withdrew his gaze, and asked, eat more. The girl relentlessly refused, don't eat. Being obedient, not eating is bad for your health. Don't eat. Nye Chao. Qi Xiao is really sick today. Still intimidating and lure the little sister to eat pork liver. Seeing that the girl's eyebrows were full of resistance, Fu Yun raised her eyebrows slightly, and the tone was prolonged, you really don't want to eat? Push the plate far away, I don't like the internal organs. These pig livers are indeed a bit special. After eating a plate of 12 slices, she clearly felt that the body's blood production speed was significantly faster, even better than her self-recovery effect. But she really accepts the incompetence of the internal organs, which is already her limit. Then pack it. Fu Yun tapped on the table deeply, curled his lips, smiled evilly, put it in the refrigerator, and eat it tomorrow morning. Puff, Nye Chao sprayed, 7th youngest, are you not afraid that the boss will beat you? Ha! Hearing this, Fu Yunshan lifted his eyelashes, his voice was gentle, little friend, you think I'm so good to you, are you willing to beat me? Glanced at him, there seemed to be a light rain of apricot blossoms in his eyes, slowly, yes, I can't bear it. Fu Yun's peachy eyes narrowed, and his breath moved slightly, huh? Nye Chao was shocked. He was stunned. He thought that this little sister was reserved and introverted, but who knew that she could even counterattack the 7th master? It's terrible. At this moment, the bamboo curtain was suddenly pulled open, and the hanging wind chimes were pulled down with excessive force, and it fell to the ground. Who? Excuse me, Grandpa Nye. Nye Chao turned his head, and when he saw the man in the black suit, his voice got stuck in the back and he coughed sharply. Fuck, Jiang Yamo is far away. What kind of fate is this? He subconsciously looked at Ng Zijin, but saw that the girl had already picked up a bowl of longan and red jujube soup, as if he had not seen anyone. She is loose, her arms are placed on the table casually, her eyebrows are slightly raised, she does not look like a celebrity, but there is a noble beauty that people can't ignore, like a medieval princess of Chao walking out of an oil painting. Jiang Moyuan looked down at the girl with a very high attitude, his tone sinking, you ran from the hospital, and came out to come here to hang out with these people. Nye Chao was annoyed by a single sentence, but he endured it and didn't move. He doesn't care, but he can't make trouble for other little sisters. Yingzijin, I don't have time to discipline you. Jiang Moyuan glanced at the watch on his wrist, in a completely indifferent tone, you are not worth my time, and I will not care if you are going to ruin yourself. I just want to tell you. He paused, his eyes revealed the sharpness that can only be found in the mall, don't let Lu Wei worry about it, she is not in good health, you go home now and give Lu Wei an explanation. The secretary also added tactfully, I hope that Miss Ng knows herself and don't pester San Yi. San Yi is very busy and has no time to accompany Miss Ng. Does this Miss Ng think that she is also surnamed Ng, so she can be compared with Miss Lu Wei? It's just an adopted daughter. What can you compare with the First Lady in Shanghai? The girl suddenly raised her head. A beautiful and thrilling face. The hazy mist in those phoenix eyes suddenly disappeared. After the mist had passed, it was a cold and magnificent light. It's very interesting. I have escaped here. Uncle Jiang is going to chase me and say to discipline me. Ng Ziying held his elbow, his brows were indifferent, who thee is haunting whom? This tone is different from the timid admiration of the past, and it is so cold that it makes people feel stab. Jiang Moyuan's expression changed. The secretary was also a little surprised, almost unbelievable. In the past, how could this missing heir talk to Senya like this? Fu Yunshan suddenly laughed. He raised his eyelashes slightly, and glanced at the standing person. His peachy eyes were bent, deep and charming, in a cynical tone. Not so good, kid, why don't you look at me? Discreet tone, but it clearly protects shortcomings. Jiang Moyuan frowned. Fu Yunshan is a young elder brother, yes, but he is the most favored by Mr. Fu. The Jiang family is very strong, but even worse than the Fu family. Jiang Moyuan, I don't care what you are crazy about today. Fu Yun tapped the table with his slender fingers, his lips curled. I'm eating, don't disturb your appetite. The waiter immediately came forward. Mr. Jiang, hello, the table you reserved is here, please don't disturb other customers, otherwise you will be blacklisted in Hang and you will never be able to enter. Silent ridicule, the most deadly. Jiang Moyuan tightened his lips, and his jaw tightened, his expression ugly. Han Pavilion does not even give the face of the imperial capital family, let alone the Jiang family. This is the first time that he has to go if he doesn't. The secretary hurriedly followed, dingy. The surroundings returned to tranquility, the sound of running water was gurgling, mixed with the melodious sound of the guqin, and it was like jade. Nye Chao only felt that he had watched a big show, writhing in excitement. Fu Yun glanced at him deeply. Has the snake spirit possessed? Bah, bah. Nye Chao immediately corrected his posture. Isn't it cool for me? 7th, you and the boss cooperated so well. Fu Yunshan didn't care anymore. He was lazy. Pedestrian Street, Disneyland, Ocean Aquarium, they are all suitable children. Raises eyebrows. Okay, Qi Xiao, all the places you recommend are bad streets. Nye Chao was speechless. Miss Ng, I'll tell you a place. I'm sure not many people have heard of it. He was mysterious. Do you know the location of the TV tower? Ng Zian nodded. I know. There is an underground market there. It's so fun. There are gambling on stones, divination, and weird antiques. Nye Chao browsed. Last time someone used dozens of yuan to buy a yuan blue and white flower. The double-gourd pattern bottle has turned over. Fortune-telling. Ng Zijing listened. How to fortune-telling? Hey, it's just playing tarot cards. Anyway, I don't believe it. Nye Chao waved his hand. Big brother, if you want to play, I can take you. I was interrupted before the words were finished. Nye Chao. Fu Yun smiled deeply, unable to hear any extra emotions. What nonsense are you talking about? Right, nonsense. Nye Chao was agitated. I'm all nonsense, you don't go, big brother. Yes, the underground market is very chaotic, and it only opens after midnight. It's no problem for them to play, but the ladies can't go. If this spreads out, the little sister's reputation will be even worse, and he will become a sinner. Ng Ziying's eyelashes drooped, and did not ask again. Tarot, she has forgotten that she has played it. Is it just that there are real tarot cards on the earth today? Fu Yun tilted his head deeply, his peachy eyes suddenly bends. My kid, why are you staring at me all the time? Good looking. In the public period, please don't raise more articles and leave a message. If you raise a poor data, this book may die. Oh. Don't spend money on evaluation tickets, is it free? End of this chapter. True daughter, she is the almighty boss. Chapter 5, Touch the head to kill. Chapter 5, Touching the head to kill. As soon as he approaches, the extremely enchanting face is close at hand. Is set off with a pair of affectionate and smiling peachy eyes, and is extremely aggressive, almost making people difficult to resist. Cough, cough, cough. Nye Chao was choked, shocked at his shamelessness. Fuck, Qi Xiao, you want to nod your face. How can there be such a molestation of other people's little sister? Ng Zijian put his chin in his hand, raised his eyes when he heard the words, and looked indifferently. It's pretty good. Nye Chao. What can he say if one is willing to fight and the other is willing to fight? Children who tell the truth are cute. Fu Yunshan stood up lazily, then I'll be a good person and take you home. Nye Chao just wanted to ask him what to do, but he was blocked by a look in his eyes. Let's go, he will go by himself. Brothers have no human rights in front of women. Nye Chao followed sadly. Ng Zijian thought for a moment, it's no trouble, I owe it after all. Fu Yunshan, except for the information on the face such as age and name, other important things can't be calculated. Maybe it's because her ability has not recovered yet, maybe. It is better to stay as far away as possible. Huh. Fu Yunshan took out the car keys, and smiled when he heard this. Why do you owe? You reminded Nye Chao, aren't we a fair deal? He paused and curled his lips. So, kid, if you really feel that you owe me, you might as well tell me the gossip about Shanghai. Ng Zijin looked at him and raised his eyebrows. Gossip? She knows the meaning of gossip, which represents interesting anecdotes, gossip, and hexagrams. It seems that there are many new things she needs to learn in the 21st century. Isn't this just coming back? Fu Yunshan put his hand on the car door. How about satisfying my curiosity? He raised his hand and made a pleased gesture. Ng Zian's eyes lighted up. When she came to Earth for the first time, she stayed in O continent for 300 years. During this period, she traveled throughout O continent with different identities, so she knew the various etiquettes of all royal families in O continent. The gesture originated from the royal family of Y country, but was abandoned in the first half of the 16th century. If you don't get in a car again, your little uncle will be out soon. Fu Yun looked deeply. You see, I have no power and no power, what if he catches us together? This sentence made the girl decisively make a choice and sit in the position of the co-pilot. Fu Yun raised his eyebrows deeply. Jiang Moyuan is so deterrent. Boy, you broke my heart again. Ng Ziying lightly, it's just trouble. Fu Yunshan was taken aback for a while. Obviously he did not expect to hear such an answer, and then he raised his eyes and gave a low laugh. The light brushed over the man's fine black hair, and then fell back, dyeing his eyebrows light gold. The scarlet lips and the naturally cold white skin formed a distinct color contrast, which was undiminished like a monster. He raised the window. I heard that Jiang Moyuan brought you from Qingshui County to Shanghai. Ng Zijin recalled, he said he was sending me to Qingji to study. Qingji Middle School is the #1 high school in Shanghai, but all students from the elite classes can enter the Imperial College, and the key book rate is above 98%. Parents want to send their children in. Looked out the window and squinted. I had a car accident on the road and went to the hospital. This car accident did not cause any fatal injuries, but the Ying family discovered her existence, because she is an extremely rare Renault blood type, exactly the same as Ying Luwei. This kind of blood is also called golden blood. It is a true universal blood. It can be transfused to people of any other blood type, but if it is self-ischemic, it can only be transfused with the same Renault blood. The number of people with the Renault blood type in the world is less than 100. Even Yingjia cannot provide sufficient blood in time when Yingluwei is injured. She happens to be a suitable candidate. Fu Yun paused with a deep finger. Because of this, the Ying family adopted you? Ling Ziying put his head in his hand, and answered casually, as if it had nothing to do with him, the living blood bank that came here, why not? Renault blood has a very special place. Everyone can only draw once. After the draw, antibodies will be produced. If you forcibly draw a second time, you will die. But she won't. That's why the Ying family has always raised her. Fu Yun tilted his head deeply, his eyes remained fixed for 2 seconds, then suddenly raised his hand and patted her on the head. Same as a kitten. Ng Zijin slowly turned her head, expressionless, murderous intent appeared in her eyes. What are you doing? Let you not think too much. Fu Yunshan seemed to be in a very good mood. He raised his lips. Fasten your seatbelt and you are about to set off. 30 minutes later, the car stopped in a half-hill villa area. Remember to rest early. Fu Yunshan looked at the girl who got out of the car. Drink more longan and red date soup. Ng Ziying's eyelashes moved slightly. I see, thank you. I hear you thank you so many times a day, and my ears are calloused. The man's slender forearm leaned on the car window and chuckled. Ing Ziying rubbed her head for an unprecedented time, slightly helpless. Okay. Fu Yun heard the words deeply, not knowing what he had thought of, and felt a little thoughtful. He did not leave immediately, and added lazily, okay, go to rest, it's too dark at night, I'll watch you go. Ing Zijin nodded, so do you. After bidding farewell, she turned and walked towards the villas. The door was opened before reaching the villa, and the housekeeper of the old house came out. He has strict eyes, with scrutiny, the second lady is finally willing to come back. The girl stood under the steps, her long eyelashes were dyed with a layer of frost, and the snow covered the ends of her hair. Her wrists are thin and white, her blood vessels are clear, and her body is so thin that she can collapse as soon as the wind blows. The housekeeper frowned, but he did not forget the explanation given to him by the people in the room. He said, Madam said, since the second lady left the hospital with such a heavy and willful rebellious mentality, please ask the second lady not to go home tonight. When did the second lady admit her mistake, when can she enter the door? Second miss, please. Is full of sarcasm. The butler's expressions were all displeased, and a bit bored. This second young lady only knows all day long to cause trouble and to suffer more. He wanted to see how long she could last for such a heavy snow. Who knows, when she heard this, the girl didn't even look at him, turned around and left without nostalgia. The butler was taken aback. How did you leave? Shouldn't you cry and apologize and ask for forgiveness? He knew that the wife's original intention was not to punish the second lady, but to let her know how to grow up and down, and make fewer mistakes. If the second lady is really let go, he will only be punished at that time. The butler quickly stepped forward and stood in front of the girl, showing his face unconcernedly. Second miss, where do you want to go? Don't be self-willed anymore. You can behave like a spoiled wife, say something nice, and admit your mistakes, and you will be fine. Winning the government is not winning or losing, I feel deeply worried about your language. The sound is the same as the cloud, and the interpretation is sunlight. End of this chapter. True daughter, she is the almighty boss. Chapter 6, Support. Chapter 6 Support. Not sure about your identity? The butler was even more bored, and he said again, Second miss, you are like this, there is really no way to please the lady, I think you still. But he couldn't finish speaking. Stopped, glanced at him, suddenly raised his leg, and kicked it directly. Caught off guard, the housekeeper fell to the ground with a bang. One hand was still firmly stepped on, and the pain was so painful that he couldn't help but let out a howl. At this time, in the night, a laugh suddenly fell, with a bit of cynicism, but she listened carefully but was wrapped in a thin cool. I don't know if I won't come back, now the subordinates of the Ing family dare to order the master. That's how Mrs. Ing disciplined him. The man is slender and tall. He also wears a black shirt with scattered buttons. The complexion becomes more and more white in the snow, like a soft porcelain made of jade. Go to the next stop on the tree, and it will become a landscape on its own. Even if it is snowy and moonlight, it is hard to beat its charm. Retracted her foot, raised her head, her eyes paused. You haven't left yet? Fortunately, I didn't leave. Fu Yunshan put one hand in his pocket, and the corners of his lips bent. If this is gone, our kids will have to be bullied. The breeze swelled, blowing open his clothes, revealing a small piece of collarbone, and a faint emerald aloes came out. Calm and gentle, deadly temptation. Ing Zijin was silent for a moment, too lazy to reason. She doesn't like to talk. If she says one more word, she might as well do it directly. Well, I know. Fu Yun patted her on the head deeply, so I'll take care of it, you can just watch it from the side. He turned his head, raised his chin, still smiling. Who do you want to apologize? The housekeeper was stupefied originally, and at this moment he dared not come out, his face was flushed, and his legs were trembling, and he knelt down. Of course he would not fail to know this man who appeared here. Fu's seventh young master, Fu Yunshan. The youngest brother in Shanghai, he doesn't seek to make progress. I heard that it was Fu Yunshan who was too indulgent and provoked the heir of a family in the imperial capital, and was sent to Ozhou by the Fu family overnight. Why did come back suddenly? And still protecting the second lady like this? Are you crazy? I'm sorry, second lady. The butler couldn't resist the pressure, suddenly raised his hand, slapped himself, and shivered. I shouldn't be disrespectful to you, it's all my fault. Fu Yunshan was unreasonable. Go, kid, this time I will send you in personally. How can the butler dare to stop? Seventh young master, second miss, please here. At the same time, he was relieved, at least madam wouldn't blame him. The door opened, cold air was drawn in, and a layer of frost fell on the luxurious carpet. On the first floor of the old house, the living room is fully heated. There is a lady sitting on the sofa. She is flipping through a book. She has an elegant posture and shows her famous demeanor in her every move. This is Mrs. Ng Zhong Manhua, born in the Zhong family, one of the four giants. Zhong Manhua heard the footsteps, but did not look up. Not salty or indifferent, said, second miss is soft. The soundproofing of the old house is very good, and the people inside will not hear the movement outside. The butler did not dare to show up, and only dared to whisper, Madam. Huh. Zhong Manhua frowned and raised his head. You are not convinced. The words behind all stopped when they saw the man. Zhong Manhua was stunned, only to react after a few seconds. She put down the book in her hand, got up to greet, as if she hadn't seen the girl, and smiled. It turns out to be young Master 7. Yesterday, I heard your father say that you have come back from Ozhou. Why is there something important to come to Ying's house so late? The Fu family is the top of the four giants. Even if Fu Yunshan has left Shanghai for 3 years, as long as the Fu is still there, the Ying family cannot afford to offend. Send the children home. Fu Yun was deeply faint. I am not at ease, I am afraid that she will be bullied. Zhong Manhua's laughter stagnated, and obviously did not expect to get such an answer. Then her eyes fell on the girl and asked, What's the matter? The butler hurriedly recounted what had happened before. After listening, Zhong Manhua frowned again, took a deep breath, and laughed again. Seventh master, this is a misunderstanding, and I bother you to run. Zijin is also my daughter, how can I bear her suffering? Is that so? Fu Yun smiled deeply, standing lazily. That's good, I don't worry, Madam Ng treats her adopted daughter like this, and she can gain a good reputation of loving kindness even if she spreads it out. Zhong Manhua's face is a bit ugly. This is obviously a mockery. This is the man. Fu Yun glanced lightly and chuckled, a bit courageous. The butler's legs are softer. Zhong Manhua's face was strained and did not speak. But I'm an outsider, it's not easy to teach Madam Ng. Fu Yunshan ignored him, but turned his head and raised his phone towards the girl, with a smile in his voice. Children, I will save the phone number for you. Yes, feel free to contact. The door was closed again, and there was a dead silence in the house. The butler breathed a sigh of relief and kept wiping his sweat. Where did you go? Zhong Manhua held back his anger. After all, he didn't change his face immediately after Fu Yunshan left. Lu Wei said you left the hospital 3 hours ago. Why did you go? When a person ran out in a snowy day, when will she be relieved? Also specially find someone to come back to anger her, not knowing the manners. Ng Zijin did not respond, she yawned. Except for being hungry, she will be sleepy now. Suddenly as a normal person, she has to experience it. Zhong Manhua said coldly, What about you, so rude? Ng Ziying raised his eyes, faintly, Why do you have to manage a living blood bank? Zhong Manhua could hardly believe his ears. There was a momentary blank in his brain, and his body trembled suddenly. What did you say? The butler also looked over in surprise, with a look of disbelief. The fact that the Ng family accepted an adopted daughter as a living blood bank for Ng Luwei is not a secret among the four giants, and the entire upper class knows it. But no one cares about this matter, because it is not important, and occasionally as an after-dinner talk to add some fun, Ng Jie didn't think there was anything wrong. But when this ugly fact was so straightforwardly revealed, Zhong Manhua only felt that all the fig cloths on his body had been torn off, with thorns on his back, his blood was cold, and his hands and feet were cold. After all, Zhong Manhua came from a famous family. She quickly calmed down, her expression relaxed a little, but she still said in a commanding tone, What is your appearance? I have hot water ready for you. Go take a bath first. I have something to say later. Tell you. I saw the girl yawned again, but she didn't care, and went upstairs. Zhong Manhua's face was livid, and with a pop, he placed the teacup heavily on the table. The butler lowered his head, afraid to speak. Look at her attitude, and then listen to what she said. Zhong Manhua was so angry that his heart and lungs were aching, and he was more aggrieved. Does she think I want her to be blood drawn? The flesh that fell from my body, can I not feel bad? End of this chapter. True daughter, she is the almighty boss. Chapter 7, Missing Family. Chapter 7, Missing Family. Ying Luwei is her little sister-in-law, can she die? Didn't she invite a therapist to cook herself? Why can't her biological daughter understand her more, and in turn hurt her heart? Madam calms down. The butler pondered and relieved, the second lady may be in the rebellious period. The rebellious period? Zhong Manhua was angrily laughed, when did she pass my heart? She is not sensible at all, and now she is ignorant of me, does she not want to recognize me? She got angry when she mentioned this. Teaching for so long, I can't learn piano, can't write big characters, I can't even speak English, and I don't look like a lady. Zhong Manhua became more and more angry. When Mo Yuan brought her back a year ago, I looked at her very well behaved, who knew how to do this kind of thing. Ying's face is lost. Now ran to hook up Fu Yunshan again. Who is Fu Yunshan? A well-known young man in Shanghai, what can't be done, only one face. Was sold at that time, and returned to others to count the money. The butler didn't know what to say, so he had to remind him, Madam, it's 10:30, and Missy is still waiting for your call. Looking at Zhong Manhua who was sad and angry, he shook his head and sighed. The eldest lady of Ying's family is not Mrs. Ying's biological daughter, but adopted. But the adopted ones are more caring than their own. Fortunately, the old lady is all sensible and declares that the second lady is only an adopted daughter. Otherwise, if the other three giants know the truth, they may be ridiculed. He has been in Ying's house for more than 20 years, and he has also served the old man Ying and the old lady Ying, and he also knows a little about the things of the year. 15 years ago, the Ying family had a big business involving the imperial capital. The company was busy for days and nights without closing eyes. Fortunately, the order was signed in the end. On the day that the order was signed, Ying Zhenting and Zhong Manhua went out to socialize together, but when they came back at night, they found that the baby in the cradle had disappeared. There is no trace, just like missing out of thin air. The butler was also puzzled. He just went to the kitchen for a few minutes. How could this happen? The baby is not yet 1 year old, and it is impossible for him to run out by himself. Ying's family mobilized many people to look for it, but they didn't find it. Zhong Manhua collapsed at the time and almost went mad. During that time, she was in a trance, and she would rush over and cry when she saw other babies on the road. Ying Zhenting couldn't bear to see his wife like this, so he had to think of a way to adopt a child. This child is going to be very similar to the little daughter they lost. The baby is not open at all under 1 year old, and he is not raised day by day, so he can't tell anything. A few months later, Zhong Manhua's spirit finally stabilized. Later, she learned about Ying Zhenting's actions and did not blame it. Her mother's love was also transferred to the adopted child during this period. She took care of her every day, and the more she watched, the happier she became. Of course, Ying Zhenting is still sending someone to search for the lost baby secretly, but she hasn't found it for 2 years, so she gave up over time. The rich have no shortage of younger generations, and there are a lot of illegitimate children. Ying Zhenting suppressed the matter and warned the insiders at the time that they did not need to disclose a word. After all, as one of the 4 giants in Shanghai, the Ying's every move is extremely critical. If this scandal is publicized, there will be turbulence. So in addition to a limited number of people such as the housekeeper, even the young master of the Ying family didn't even know that his sister was lost. After more than 10 years, everyone has gradually forgotten such a thing. The housekeeper also knows what Zhong Manhua is worrying about. She has a harmonious family and has a pair of excellent children. The predecessors and the rest are elegant ladies, and everyone is envied by them. As a result, the true daughter was suddenly found back. This was originally worth celebrating, but this true daughter came from the countryside and didn't understand etiquette. She didn't do anything. She did some embarrassing things. She was really not worthy of the Ying family. Identity of Qing's blood can never be left outside, even if it's a stain, so I finally recognized it by adoption. Neither Ying Jinting nor Zhong Manhua felt that there was anything wrong. After all, the second lady was not as good as the eldest. Huqingyingjia is not comparable to a small county. Being able to step into the upper class is the blessing of this true daughter and should not be more greedy. Look at my memory, I have forgotten such important things. Zhong Manhua rubbed his temples, picked up the mobile phone, dialed the phone, and immediately laughed after hearing the voice coming from there. Hey, Xiao Xian, it's Mom, how are you doing today? Well, good, that's good, you can study at Ozu with peace of mind, tell your mother what you lack, mother is not too troublesome. In the room. Looked at the old desktop computer on the table, tapped a few random fingers on the keyboard, and the screen got stuck. Hey. Although she has never touched a computer, she also knows that this is the most inferior product. She stopped looking, lowered her head, took out a bank card from Qingshui County from the wallet in the drawer, and forgot it. 562 yuan and 8 cents. Is a bit less, but just enough. Ying Zian constricted her eyes, supported her hand, and jumped off the 9-meter-high third floor, landing lightly, and left the old house of the Ying family from the right. The butler who was closing the window caught the girl's figure, but when he looked again, he couldn't see anything. The butler rubbed his eyes and muttered suspiciously, maybe it's a mistake. Sure enough, he was dazzled, he thought that the second lady had sneaked out. The housekeeper shook his head, closed the doors and windows, and went to the kitchen to prepare Zhong Manhua's hot milk before going to bed. Because of Fu Yunshan's interruption, Nia Chao did not give the exact address of the underground market. But for Yingzijin, as long as you get the name of a place, you can figure it out. She looked at the slanted letters hermit hanging at the door, her eyes fixed for a moment, then she put on the mask and walked in. The underground market is even more chaotic than the Shanghai city at night, with feasting and flirting demons. This is an area beyond the control of the four giants, and people who come in will more or less hide their identities. The girl's entry did not attract the attention of others, and a gaze came from behind and fell on her, a little more interesting. In the Starry Sky bar, the bartender behind the counter noticed the man's abnormality and raised his eyes. What are you looking at? Nothing. Fu Yun curled his lips, and the wine spoon turned into a stream of light between his slender and white fingers. He tilted his head and laughed. I saw a disobedient kid who ran out of the house so late. At present, Fu Yaoniai really just treats Ying Huang as a child. He just talks like this, so he's very nasty. End of this chapter. True daughter, she is the almighty boss. Chapter 8, I can get married in 3 years. Chapter 8, you can get married in 3 years. Children. The bartender followed the man's gaze, and after only one glance, he withdrew his gaze, lacking interest. It's quite small. It's not too young anymore. Fu Yun chuckled softly, in a lazy tone, in 3 years, it will be the legal age for marriage. The bartender couldn't answer this. He shook his head and lowered his voice, be careful, you have been offered a reward. Huh? Fu Yun raised his eyebrows, not surprisingly, how much did it happen? SS level reward, billion US dollars, the amount is currently ranked 7th on the reward list. The bartender stared at him, at least 10 people on the hunting list have accepted this reward. You now know that you have. How hateful is it? As long as it is in the top 10 of the bounty list, everyone can get it and blame it. If you don't kill it, you can't make it with money. Fu Yun's deep peachy eyes bend, with a fascinating meaning, then they have to find me, too. This point, the bartender agrees, he said, I can't find you, and your concealment ability is probably only weaker than the one on the list. IBI, the full name is International Bureau of Investment, the International Bureau of Investigation. This can't be compared. Fu Yun said indifferently, how many years have passed since the ranking hasn't changed? I just made it. The top prize on the reward list can't be compared to the other 9, high enough to be comparable to the GDP of a small country on continent O, but no one has ever picked it up. This shows how hard it is to get the top prize on the reward list. No, it should be said that I can't even find it. I'm really curious, who is this magician? The bartender snorted, why is he more hateful than you? The other targets on the reward list are at least traceable, but this list is the only one that disappeared without any information. Moreover, the title of the fortune teller is too arrogant. Even those warlocks and witches who had true abilities in the ancient O continent did not dare to call themselves a fortune. There are also fortune tellers now, but like the ancient warriors, few are true, most of them are hidden from the world, and the rest are some deceitful gods. It would be ridiculous if someone could calculate everything. Fu Yun raised her peachy eyes, smiling but not smiling. What are you talking about? To be honest, you are hateful in the first place. You still have to be careful anyway. $1 billion is enough to buy an island. You don't know that the hunters on the list are just like crazy people. But when the teacher said this, he frowned again. Are you really going to stay here? I thought you would at least go to the imperial capital. Fu Yun's eyes were half lifted, absent-minded. I'm going to stay in Shanghai for a while. Hearing this, the bartender suddenly came up with a ridiculous thought, for a woman. Fu Yun raised his eyebrows deeply, without any hurries. What are you talking about? She's still just a kid. The bartender's eyes changed. You are crazy. I've been crazy long ago. Fu Yunshan got up, put his coat on his arm, laughed cynically, patted the bartender on the shoulder. Drink less wine, it hurts. The underground market does not require any identification to enter. Everyone has it, but many people will deliberately conceal their identity. There are various shops on both sides of the road, because the things that are sold are different, and the buildings are also different. There are ancient Romanesque, Gothic, and Baroque buildings in Ozu, as well as Chinese classical garden-style buildings. Ling Zijin looked up and noticed the shops with the divination signs. At a glance, there were more than a dozen of these shops. But there is only one, with superficial auras floating. Tarot card is a kind of divination tool that originated in O continent. It was very popular in the Middle Ages. She also followed the trend, but its origin is still a mystery. But there are not many real tarot cards. The tarot card divination incidents sold on the market can barely be used. In other cases, it is a bunch of waste paper. Perhaps, she should find a real tarot card before her ability is fully restored. Wang Zijin thoughtfully pressed her mask, her eyelashes drooped, and walked towards the market. In addition to the shops, there are many stalls around, most of which are displayed some broken antiques, but this does not prevent buyers who want to pick up the leaks from being pitted. The girl glanced casually, and she had observed hundreds of antiques within 10 seconds. Unexpectedly, all of these were fake. It wasn't until half an hour later that Ng Zijin finally saw what she needed. It was an ancient coin, mixed in a pile of celadon, unremarkable. The characters imprinted on the ancient coins were worn out a lot, and they were stained with soil. At first glance, they looked like they were made of earth. She lowered her head, narrowed her eyes, and instantly calculated the age and name of this ancient coin. Qin silver half and 2 large coins, cast in 339 BC, during the Warring States period. After 2,000 years, the price will be more than 5 million. Ng Zijin squatted down. How can I sell this? Does not refer to ancient coins, but a stone bowl next to it. The stall owner is a young man. He glanced at the girl, looked her up and down, and said perfunctorily, take 500 yuan. The tone of is somewhat contemptuous. Ng Zijin looked sideways, her finger landed on the ancient silver coin. There is also this. Send you to me. The youth became more impatient. Take them all, don't hinder me from doing business. He is still waiting to meet a few rich kids to make more money, but he has no time to spend with a poor ghost here. Liao Zijin's expression did not change. After putting down 5 100 sheets, she picked up the stone bowl and the ancient coin, rubbed her hand, and squinted her phoenix eyes. Now she can be sure that the earth is a world that cannot be cultivated, but that's good, she can live in peace of mind. However, this action was reflected in the eyes of the young man, but he was crazy. He laughed, did not hide his voice in the slightest, and deliberately raised it. I am a pauper, I have no vision, I thought I had picked up a treasure. A stall owner next to him heard, Hey, don't speak so bluntly, people still need face. What kind of face do you want? Now everyone really deserves to enter the dungeon. Can't you? It's a shame that there are always a group of poor people who want to pick up leaks recently. They have been in the underground market for so long, but still don't know which customer is really rich. This kind of poor ghost, they don't even bother to pit it. The young man yelled again, it's more than a pauper, it's simply stupid, and it doesn't even have the basic identification ability. He bought the stone bowl for 5 yuan on Taobao. The coin was picked up in a park in Punan, and it was worthless. These two things are used to charge up the number. I didn't expect that there was a fool who wanted to buy it, so that he made 500 yuan easily. Lord, I'm on the list, you're worthy of being a good sister. Ing Zian who only wants to support the elderly, I don't want to. I heard that my routine is a list in the book. IB, Prototype FBI. End of this chapter. True Daughter, She is the Almighty Boss. Chapter 9, First Boss. Chapter 9, The First Big Brother. The laughter rang out, and everyone around looked over. Those eyes glanced at the girl unscrupulously, unkindly. The girl didn't give a look, she looked indifferent. She collected the old coins and was about to leave. Behind, those ironic laughter were still reluctant. Look, let's say a little bit of face. What should you do if you make the little girl annoyed and run back to cry for an adult? I'm doing this for her good, so that I can sharpen my character. It seems that she also. Unfinished words, a slightly urgent voice sounded. This lady, my master has come up with 6 million to buy the Qin silver and have $2 big in your hands. I don't know if I can cut love. The smile on the youth's face froze, and he couldn't believe what he heard. What? 6 million to buy a coin that can be seen everywhere? What's the joke? Other people who watched the excitement are also a little confused, and haven't recovered for a long time. Ing Ziying raised his eyebrows slightly, turned his head and looked in the direction of the sound. It was an old man in a tang suit, with silver hair and white beard, but his walking pace was steady and powerful, and his bullying momentum was unabated. It was a young man who followed the old man who spoke earlier. He stepped forward in a negotiating tone, if the price is not enough, you can add more. One sentence is a sensation. What kind of coin is that? 6 million is not enough. I seem to have heard it just now, what kind of Qin Yinzheng and half the money? It's not possible. If it's really Qin Yinzheng and half a couple of dollars, it's really worth the price. At an international auction a few years ago, it was also a Qin silver half and 2 large coins, and finally sold for a high price of 7.6 million. What is Qin Yinji's half and 2 big coins? The young man was furious. This is what I picked up by the river. Do you think Qin Yin's half and 2 big coins are Chinese cabbage? If it is Qin Yinji and half a couple of dollars, wouldn't he become a joke? The old man carried his hands on his back, without anger and prestige, Mu Cheng. Mu Cheng understood, and took out a document. It was a certificate, clearly written in white and red letters. National Cultural Relic Appraisal Appraiser. 8 levels. The highest level. This certificate blocked all the doubts, like a loud slap, slammed on the face of the young stall owner. Looked at this certificate seriously, thoughtfully, and sure enough, there are many new professions in the 21st century. She nodded, no need, the price is just right. Okay, thank you miss for cutting love. Mu Ching nodded and took out a black card. This is 6 million, internationally. In the upper right corner of this black card, there is a golden iris flower. Ing Ziying's eyes paused, and the tips of his eyes raised slightly. Well, that's good, the bank where she used to deposit gold did not go down. No, I won't sell it. Seeing the black card, how could the young man still be able to bear it? He slammed forward and was about to grab the ancient coins in the girl's hand, acting fiercely, bring it. He picked it up, and the money should be his. The girl has no expression, she just raised her right leg. Very casual movements, with a bit of carelessness. But just like that, he kicked the young man a few meters away. Boom. People around are all looking silly. Then handed over the old coin and accepted the black card, thank you. Mu Cheng was stunned, and he dreamed, don't thank you. Don't talk about Mu Cheng, even the old man in Tang's suit is a little surprised, and his eyes are a little more inquisitive. And what surprised others was that the manager who basically didn't show up came and spoke with a calm face. The underground market also has the rules of the underground market. I want to take back the things I sell. After receiving this person's permit, I will not be able to enter the underground market in the future. After finished speaking, she turned around and bowed to the girl. Sorry, I frightened you. Put the black card into his pocket, it's okay. 6 million, enough for a while. The manager breathed a sigh of relief. He turned around and instructed the security guard to take the youth stall out. Not far away, the bartender who had a panoramic view of this scene was silent for a moment, and said sincerely, this kid you know seems to be a bit fierce. Such a weak little girl can kick such a big man out. What nonsense. Fu Yunshan peachy eyes curled up, obviously well-behaved and cute. Bartender. This filter is a bit too heavy. But he was still puzzled, why don't you go by yourself? Is it bad for the hero to save the United States? I have to do this, let the managers come. Fu Yun moved his eyelashes and chuckled, I can't go. The bartender was taken aback, why? Fu Yun groaned and laughed, I want to take care of the children's emotions. After all, we only said goodnight to each other 2 hours ago. It turned out to be met in the underground market again, wouldn't it be embarrassing? Although he had guessed that she would come to the underground market after hearing what Nye Chao said, but she waited for it. The bartender became even more speechless, I see that after you come back, time is spent on pleasing women. I have to take care of even this little mood, I really can't be more careful. He also wondered what the master was doing to give himself the image of a young boy. What are you talking about? Fu Yun bowed his head deeply, I need it. The bartender looked at the man's upside-down face. On the other side, in an alley. Master, it would be nice if we came earlier. Mu Ching said, 6 million was wasted for nothing. Although 6 million is not a big deal to them, it is still saving if you can save. No waste. The old man waved his hand, a smile appeared on his face, at least I saw such a funny little girl. Mu Ching quickly understood, are you referring to her kick just now? Yes. The old man said lightly, and she didn't try her luck with this ancient coin. Mu Ching hesitated, is it impossible? He knew that Mu Ching had no other hobbies after he retired, but he liked to collect antiques and donate them to the National Museum. Mu Ching didn't say much, and coughed a few times, go. Mu Ching followed, and when he was about to ask again, he saw the old man covering his heart, his body suddenly convulsed, and he fell down. Mu Ching was taken aback and hurried forward, Master. Sorry, no one thought that Mu Ching would fall ill at this time. They didn't even bring a doctor. Mu Ching's body has always been tough, but before retreating, he was shot at a position that deviated from the heart. Although the person woke up, the root of the disease was left behind, and he would get sick from time to time. I just had an operation a while ago, so it shouldn't be so soon. What can I do now? Miss Meng is far away in the imperial capital, it is too late. Mu Ching was sweating with anxiety, he tremblingly went to get the medicine, but he couldn't feed it anyway. Just when he panicked, a voice rang from behind him. Don't support your back, it will make it more difficult for him to breathe, let him lie down. Mu Ching raised his head in surprise. The girl is standing outside the alley with long and straight legs. After a few steps, she squatted down, resting her hand on Mu Ching's pulse, and her eyebrows moved. Mu Ching also finally reacted. He was shocked and angry when he saw the girl's behavior. He slapped her hand violently and reprimanded, don't move. What's the identity of Mu Ching? If something goes wrong, no one can be held responsible. But his hand couldn't reach at all, and he slapped it directly on the ground. Mu Ching took a breath, and became even more angry, what on earth do you want to do? Ing Zijin is still trying her pulse, save people. Mu Ching seemed to hear something funny, you are just a little girl. In addition to a few people in the ancient medical world, who would dare to say that he could cure Mu Ching. Fu Yunshan, my kids are good-natured and cute. You lose your mind. The Emperor Ing is the Buddhism in the Taoism system, and it is 2333 who can use his hands and never say a single word. End of this chapter. True daughter, she is the almighty boss. Chapter 10, this is a genius doctor. Chapter 10, this is a genius doctor. It's a big breath. Mu Qing endured his anger and started calling, yes, it's in the underground market. Come here soon. After hanging up, he coldly said, Miss, don't think that our master just bought an old coin from you, you can do this. Before she finished her words, she heard the girl speak, the arrhythmia, the pain in the precordial area is aggravated, and it has spread to the left shoulder and abdomen. Smoking caused shadows in the lungs, and blockages in the breathing passages were not completely cleared. At the end, Ing Zijin raised his eyes. Midnight to 8 a.m. is the peak period of onset. I just had an operation a month ago. I shouldn't be out so late. Mu Qing was shocked. Unbelievable, you. It's not bad at all. Includes operation time. Before he recovered from the shock, he heard the girl faintly, silver needle. Mu Qing had no time to think about how she knew he had silver needles on his body, and hurriedly handed over the box containing the silver needles. Opened the box and directly pinched the 7 silver needles in his hand, just about to do it. Seeing this, Mu Qing couldn't help but reminded, use up to 4 silver needles at a time. Ing Zijin finally glanced at him after hearing this. There is no emotion in the black and white pupils, the mist is lingering, and the mood is indistinguishable. You can be quiet. Yes, sorry. Mu Qing was a little embarrassed, but he didn't think there was anything wrong. When he used to see that Miss Meng from the ancient medical world treated Mu Heching, he only used 4 silver needles at the same time. He also asked about this, only to know that there was basically no person in the ancient medical world who could use 7 silver needles at the same time. Think about it, too, with only 1 pair of hands, how can the 7 silver needles be controlled? The next second, Mu Qing couldn't help but widen his eyes. I saw the 7 silver needles in the girl's hands connected into a shadow. 1 acupuncture point after acupuncture point was submerged and withdrawn, the movements were extremely fast. Mu Qing tried hard to capture the location of the silver needle, but found that he could not see clearly, and was a little frightened. What hand speed is this? After Yingxing finished the last acupuncture point, Mu Heching, who fell on the ground, finally took a sigh of relief. The bruise on his face slowly receded and his ruddiness was restored. The whole treatment process takes less than a minute. Put the silver needle away and put it back in the box. She got up, put 1 hand in her pocket, and stood lazily. Her breath didn't get upset. Okay. Mu Qing is still in a daze, only feeling more dreamy. Even Miss Meng will lose her strength after he has treated Mu Heching. This. Cough cough cough. Mu Heching coughed sharply and opened his eyes rather laboriously. Before he was in a semi-comatose state, and he was still aware of the outside world. After breathing, Mu Heching slowly stood up with the help of Mu Qing. He coughed a few more times, his expression was serious, his eyes were gentle, and his tone was soothing. Little girl, you saved my life. If you have any needs, please mention it. He clearly felt that his heart was much better than before. This kind of medical skills, I am afraid that no one can match the ancient medical profession. No need. Ing Zijin didn't care much, just let it go. It's been a long time since she was able to treat people. It seems that her ability has not deteriorated, and she will be short of money in the future, and she can still borrow this business to eat. Mu Heching didn't force it either. He thought about it and took out a jade pendant, earnestly. Then you can keep this, if you have anything, as long as it's not a crime, I will definitely do it. Mu Qing was surprised. This is not an ordinary promise, this is the promise of the Mu family patriarch. Ing Zijin didn't want to pick it up, but when he saw the word Mu on the jade pendant, his eyes condensed for a moment. I don't know if he recalled something, he finally accepted, okay. Mu Heching was satisfied and laughed. I wonder if it is possible for me to know your name. It's rare to meet a little girl who is so close to him, how can she get acquainted? Ing Ziying pondered for a moment, but said, my name is Ing Win. Hearing this surname, Mu Qing immediately thought of Ying's family, one of the 4 biggest giants in Shanghai. After all, the surname Ing is not common. This Miss Ing does not seem to be from an ordinary family. The nobility in her bones is innate, but the Ing family. Mu Qing frowned. The Ing family, of course, have been in contact with them. With the little strength of the Ing family, can they cultivate a daughter who knows ancient medicine? Mu Heching also thought about it, but didn't ask any more, just smiled. Ms. Ing is interested in going to the imperial capital with the old man? Ing Zian raised her eyebrows slightly, unexpectedly. Not currently. Now she just wants to provide for the elderly, grow flowers and raise pigs, and be a happy rice bug. Whether it's good. Mu Heching nodded. If you want to come later, remember to contact me, Mu Cheng. Mu Cheng stepped forward and handed over a business card, a little ashamed. Sorry, Miss Ing, I suspected you earlier and offended you, sorry. No, you don't know, there is no trust between strangers. Ing Zian nodded. I'm leaving now. Mu Cheng is even more ashamed. He hasn't seen a girl clearly. After watching the girl leave, Mu Heching was still standing there, quiet for a while, then suddenly asked, Mu Cheng, how do you decide on the next marriage? Before Mu Cheng could answer, he said to himself, forget it, every one of the stinky boys is unworthy. If you don't deserve the little girl, let's not do harm to others. Mu Cheng. Is there such a burying of one's own children and grandchildren? It's a pity, why isn't it my Mu family's daughter, if it is? Mu Heching sighed, and then ordered, stay in Shanghai for a few days. The snow is early and sunny, and the sun is just right at noon. In the distance, the clouds are lingering, the sky is blue, and the white birds are hovering up and down, a rare peace and tranquility. Ying's old house. Zhong Manhua glanced at the third floor and frowned. The second lady hasn't woken up yet? The housekeeper shook his head. Nothing happened. It's noon and I still don't wake up. Zhong Manhua was unhappy. Wake her up and let her come down to eat. Just as the housekeeper was about to leave, the phone in the living room suddenly rang. He stepped forward and took a look. Madam, it's the phone of the imperial capital. Zhong Manhua said with a solemn expression, give it to me. The butler respectfully handed it over and waited aside. I don't know what was said over there, Zhong Manhua nodded repeatedly, and after hanging up, he smiled. The Mu family is going to send the child Shenzhou here, probably in May. The butler was surprised, but what happened to Mu's family? The Mu family has developed well in the imperial capital, how could one of the heirs suddenly be sent to Shanghai? I don't know, but we must treat it well. Zhong Manhua poured a cup of tea, acting gracefully. Now you have to start preparing, and you will send someone to order furniture and vacate the second house on the right on the third floor. Emperor Mu family, the four giants in Shanghai can't afford to provoke them, and they must have a good relationship. Madam, I don't think Master Shenzhou should live in the old house anymore. The butler hesitated and reminded, the second lady still doesn't understand the rules of the house, if she collides. Compared with medical skills, Ing Huang prefers to play with poison 2333, as you will know afterwards. End of this chapter.